Welcome into the best in paranormal podcasting. I know what it is. It is a Wednesday in time now for the best in paranormal podcasting, Darkness Radio. On a Wednesday, it's Supernatural News. I'm your host, Tim Dennis, and I need a co-hostess today. With that, I turn to Urban Dictionary, which describes my co-host as a beautiful, small, confused girl, bright-eyed and loud. She is stunning. Any boy would be lucky to be with her, and I happen to know there is one with her, boys, so calm your tits already. She's a girl you'd find only in your dreams, and I know quite a few of you do. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Mallie Fox. Mallie, how you doing?
Nice intro.
Huh? Pretty good.
I'm great, thank you.
How you been?
Slow your roll, boys.
That's right. Slow your roll, boys. Calm your tits. I don't know. That's what you call off the cuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what experience gets you. Just saying. That's for sure. How have things been?
Oh, good. A little upset. My Vikings. Wrong state.
Hey, you can say your Vikings.
My Lions.
They're interchangeable. I wasn't gonna give you crap. I even wore your colors today.
Yeah,
if you're watching
the white and blue.
Yeah, if you're watching on video. Yeah, welcome to the One and Done Club, by the way.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Man, they just can't take the pressure.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Although, it almost would have been better if you think about it. I mean, we'll talk next off season, but
Right.
Or next postseason. It almost would have been better if you would have let the Vikes win in that game against when we played.
Yeah.
If you would have let us have the number one seed, because we would have choked against Washington just fine for you. I mean,
Yeah.
we would have been embarrassed by him. You wouldn't have had to have taken the embarrassment against the rookie QB. We do a wonderful job of choking. I don't know if you know that or not. But here in Minnesota, we're choke artists.
Oh,
Yeah.
something for the resume.
Yeah. I mean, we designed the choke artist label. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, we would have found new ways to choke against Washington. Just saying. I mean, at least you had an excuse. Like 2/3 of your team is out injured.
Yeah.
I mean, that's old hat. We were fully healthy.
Yeah.
And we would have found new ways to choke. I mean, we would have thrown the ball into the stands. We would have, we would have ran backwards. We probably would have scored touchdowns for the other team. We would have found new ways to let Washington beat us. So I'm just saying, I mean, we have creative ways to lose.
Yeah.
Not like
I was
you
just
guys.
bummed because it was one of my predictions.
Yeah, well, join the crowd. Yeah. No. Well, now we get the fixed NFL Super Bowl that we were all hoping to see. I had stated it yesterday on the show that the NFL conspiracy is on, Mallie, and I can recap for you and for everybody else real quick that my new NFL conspiracy theory is about to come true. I had actually told Jesse Limekeeler off air, and I'll recap for everybody here real quick. I'll recap for you real quick. 2/3 of my NFL conspiracy has come true now. Washington, I'm sorry, did kick the dog crap out of Detroit.
Yeah.
They went on and got the dog crap kicked out of them by Philadelphia. There was a close game between KC and Buffalo. KC moved on. Now, KC will beat Philly in the Super Bowl. It'll be close. It'll be a one-score game, either by 3 or 7. I'm not quite sure which. On the podium afterwards, Travis Kelce will retire. He will drop to one knee. Andy Reid will hand him the ring. He will propose to Tay-Tay. It will be the highest ratings you'll ever see in NFL history. You're welcome.
I see that happening. Yeah.
It'll happen.
Ugh. You know what was happening here while the Lions were winning?
What's that?
Freaking parking lots charging $1,000 to park.
What?
Yeah, they got in trouble big time. There's 3 lots. Our lot system is so. Some of these privately owned, like it'll say like $10 on the sign, and then you pull up and they're like, oh, it's 25 or it's 30. I mean, just to park next to the arena, it's 50.
Yeah.
Or at least it was last time I was there. But yeah, this one lot was trying to charge $1,000.
No.
Yep.
Don't they have laws in your state against that?
Well, the courts got involved. Yeah. They got in big time trouble. And they're like, oh, it was an accident.
An accident. I slipped and tripped over your credit card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. I somehow don't buy the accident thing, but okay.
Yeah. I think it's cheaper to Uber.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Although you can't quite tailgate with your Uber driver. I don't know.
True.
They somehow don't want to stay
unless
around.
we get really good friends.
Yeah. Well,
And they're not out to make money that day.
yeah. If you strike up a really nice conversation with your Uber driver, maybe he'll stick around.
Yeah.
Although trying to get him to pack your grill in the back seat is not always successful. We got a big show today, Mel. Lots of interesting news out there. There's a new UFO documentary out there that looks really, really good that we're going to talk about today that's got any and everybody in the UFO community out there. And boy, it's got that magic word in it, disclosure. So we'll talk about that today. China's done it again. They were going to tank the economy and they're going to bring AI into it.
That needs to go away.
Yeah. Well, they found a magic way to do it. We'll talk about that today as well. We've got a really interesting celebrity ghost section of our program today.
Okay.
Yeah. So celebrities and ghosts, that's coming up today as well. We've got that. We've got one more 5 for 25 prediction segment. So we're gonna close out our 5 for 25 prediction segment for the year. We have one listener who sent in their predictions for the year. We've got a couple of Bigfoot stories today as well, and we're gonna close out today by telling you. And I don't know if this is a work or a shoot or what, but we're gonna talk about cats and if it's BS. Or if it's a new cat. I don't know if you watched Bill Maher this last week.
No.
Okay. Every once in a while, I like watching Real Time with Bill Maher. He claims that no cat can walk from 200 miles away back to their home and find their home. It's just a new cat. We're going to decide whether this story is legit or it's just a new cat, whether this cat really found its way home. So we're going to talk about that. That's how we're going to end Supernatural News today. Homing radar on cats.
Okay.
We'll debate that at the end of our program today. But first, an unprecedented UFO documentary was filmed in secret over 2 years. A new documentary into the UFO phenomena will feature interviews with 34 current and former U.S. government officials. Created by filmmaker Dan Farah, The Age of Disclosure is described as an unprecedented and revelatory film that delves deep into the subject of UFOs, alien visitation, and government cover-ups. It will include interviews with 34 current and former members of the U.S. military and intelligence communities, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, and former Director of National Intelligence General Jim Clapper. Other prominent individuals include former Department of Defense official Christopher Mellon and Luis Elizondo of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP. The film was granted unprecedented access and support from senior members of the U.S. government, military, and intelligence community, the official synopsis reads. Everyone interviewed in the film has direct knowledge of UAP as a result of their work for the U.S. government. The film exposes the profound impact the situation has on the future of humanity while providing a look at the behind the scenes with those at the forefront of the bipartisan disclosure effort. According to reports, the documentary was actually made in secret over 2 years, perhaps in fear of attracting the wrong kind of attention from those who might want to stop it from seeing the light of day. While a distributor for the film is still being sought, it is set to premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival in March. There's a trailer for this thing. I tell you what, we're going to post it in the description of this program so you can take a look at it for yourself. And you tell me if you're excited to see it. I tell you, I'm excited to see most of these films, but I'll tell you this much too. I think we're getting a little bit of burnout on these as far as promise and delivery. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
When you sit through the whole thing and at the end you're like, that's it? There's like no new news.
Right. What exactly do we get out of it?
Right.
Besides, we know the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the truth? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of that too. Speaking of getting a little tired of it, Tim Burchett is out there saying that an underwater UFO moved at 100 or hundreds of miles per hour. He claims that something anomalous is thought to be frequenting our oceans, and we still have no idea exactly what it could be. While unidentified aerial vehicles have been getting a lot of press in recent years, U.S. Navy witnesses have also reported another adjacent phenomenon, which is underwater aerial vehicles that seem to be capable of traveling at immense speeds and that can sometimes even transition into the air and vice versa. Speaking in an interview recently with former Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican Tim Burchett, who has long maintained that the U.S. government is withholding information on UFOs and alien visitors, described something that a U.S. Navy admiral had allegedly told him. They tell me something's moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater, as large as a football field, underwater, he said. This was a documented case, and I have an admiral telling me this stuff. Despite the implications of such a sighting, however, Burchett isn't too worried. I'm not worried about alien visitors harming me, he said. I mean, with that capabilities, they would have barbecued us a long time ago.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Well, that's cheery, you know. Officially, the Pentagon, which has been investigating UFOs for years, does not acknowledge the existence of alien visitors. Last year, a formal report into the phenomena concluded that there was no concrete evidence and that most UFO sightings have conventional explanations. Nonetheless, there are many, including some inside the U.S. government, who remain adamant that there is a lot more to the subject than officials are letting on. You know, the reason I think Tim Burchett can stand there and go, well, I'm not too worried about it. They'd have barbecued us a long time ago is the fact that I think he knows there's a lot more going on than what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that maybe some of this underwater action, that didn't sound right either, happens to be military.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I don't buy that he's so casual about things that are flirting with the Navy out there in the sea. And he's like, oh, yeah, no big deal. You know, how can you be so casual about it and think, oh, it's nothing? You know? I don't get it. I don't get the casualness of some representatives. I just don't. All right. Our next story has to do with what's being called a white egg UFO mystery defended by a former senior intelligence official. Luis Elizondo is back in the news. A former senior intelligence official and special agent has weighed into the debate about his take about the legitimacy of the white egg UFO footage. Former senior intelligence official has defended the white egg UFO mystery from skeptics. The clearest footage ever of an egg-shaped unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, has been released by a whistleblower who has claimed we're not alone. U.S. Air Force veteran Jake Barber has said that he came within 150 feet of the UAP while he was flying a military helicopter. He described the object as unlike any man-made craft he had ever seen, as he shared his experience with News Nation's Ross Coulthart in an exclusive interview on Saturday. During the program, night vision footage shot by Barber was released, which allegedly showed the UAP suspended from a 150-foot line as the aircraft gently lowered its cargo to the ground. Describing what he saw, Barber said there was no engine, there was no thermal signature. I was operating at night when I finally came in to pick it up. So I'm working under night vision goggles at the time, and it was quite clear. I flipped them up, flipped them down, and looked at it a couple of different ways. Barber said the metallic pearly white object was about the size of an SUV. This is the same footage I think we looked at last week, believe it or not. He says, I can tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something quite extraordinary, he said. He added that over the last couple of years, it had been confirmed to him by ranking members of the UAP task force that they were working with NHI, or non-human intelligence, and it was not a unique experience. Debate over the credibility of the footage has swept through social media ever since the interview and the footage was released. And weighing into the argument about the legitimacy of the clip while trying to remain on the fence was Luis Elizondo. Luis is a former senior intelligence official and special agent who was recruited into a strange and highly sensitive U.S. government program to investigate UAP incursions into sensitive military installations and airspace. Defending what he saw as an obvious error in criticism, Elizondo has addressed the skeptics who had queried the lack of ground crew on site. Speaking in an interview shared on the YouTube channel, Lato Files, Luis argued, if you are picking up something that is truly exotic, are you going to have people standing right below it, touching it, if you have no idea what the hell it is? It's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that either. You're going to keep people at a distance, Luis went on to say, because if this thing has some sort of biological effect, negative consequence, because it's radioactive or something like it is emitting something, or maybe it's super hot, there's no way to tell. You don't know what temperature it is. So this is my frustration with people saying, wow, there's no ground crew there. Well, maybe because you're not supposed to have a ground crew there. That makes complete sense. Right.
I like how you go, wah,
Wah.
wah.
Wah. I mean, if you have something that's particularly dangerous and no one knows what the hell it is, maybe that's not a great idea. I'm not defending it and I'm not attacking it. What I'm trying to say is that there's a whole lot of what ifs and questions regarding this. Even this short little video we have no idea about. And for people that just jump to a conclusion, I think it's premature. That's what Elizondo went on to say. I get what he's saying. I mean, I wouldn't, if I didn't know what the hell this thing was, I wouldn't stand underneath it either. I mean, it's kind of common sense, right, Mel? I mean,
Right. Yeah, but there are a lot of people out there that don't have common sense, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have balls the size of grapefruits to stand underneath something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, would you stand underneath a meteor that was falling from the sky?
No.
No. Because chances are you're going to get smushed, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I wouldn't stand underneath a UFO that was landing either. I'm just saying. Those are the people that are going to end up with a Darwin Award.
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh, people. All right. Our next.
Gotta love them.
You gotta love them. You gotta love them. I suppose they think, well, there's a whole extraction team there. Someone should be underneath, No. There's not a whole extraction team there. I don't know how to tell you folks this, but sometimes the government just doesn't work that way. They don't account for everything like that. It just doesn't happen. Our next story has to do with astronomers discovering a cosmic lighthouse that shouldn't exist. The object, a type of spinning star known as a pulsar, is rotating more slowly than anyone thought possible. When some of the biggest stars reach the end of their lives, they explode in spectacular supernovas and leave behind incredibly dense cores called neutron stars. Some of the remnants emit powerful radio beams from their magnetic poles. As the stars spin, these beams sweep past Earth and produce periodic pulses of radio waves, much like a cosmic lighthouse. The behavior has earned them the name of pulsars. Pulsars typically spin incredibly fast, often completing a full rotation in just seconds or even less. Over the last 3 years, some mysterious objects have emerged that emit periodic radio pulses at much slower intervals, which is hard to explain with our current understanding of neutron stars. In new research, we have found the slowest cosmic lighthouse yet, one that spins once every 6.5 hours. The discovery, published in Nature Astronomy, pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible. Our slow lighthouse also appears to be aligned with Earth in a way that lets us see radio pulses from both its magnetic poles. This rare phenomena is a first for objects spinning this slowly and offers a new window into how these stars work. The object that was discovered is named, are you ready for this? Don't try to memorize it, Mel. It's a long name. You ready? ASKAP or ASCAP J1839-0756. They couldn't come up with a nickname, evidently.
Sounds like my AT&T password.
Right?
You know how they stick it on your cable box and you're like, I can't change it?
Right, yeah. Memorize your router name.
Yep, your router, yeah.
Is using C0's ASCAP radio telescope, which is located in Wajari Yamaji country in Western Australia. It took me 3 years to learn that sentence. During a routine observation, ASCAP J1839-0756 stood out because no previously known object. Why didn't they just call it Larry? That's what I want to know. Just call the thing Larry. It stood out because no previously known object had been identified at its position. Its radio emission appeared as a fading burst, with its brightness plummeting by 95% in just 15 minutes. I think most of us older guys can relate to that. I'm just saying. At first, we had no idea the source was emitting periodic radio pulses. Only a single burst had been detected during the initial observation. To uncover more, they conducted more observations with ASCAP as well as C0's Australian Telescope Compact Array on, I believe it is Camilroy Country in Nabiri, NSW, and the highly sensitive Meerkat Radio Telescope in South Africa. A long ASCAP observation eventually revealed 2 pulses separated by 6.5 hours, confirming the periodic nature of the source. The real surprise, however, according to what is known about neutron stars, is that ASCAP J1839-0756 shouldn't even exist. Neutron stars emit radio pulses by converting their rotational energy into radiation, and over time they lose energy and they slow down. So the thing really even shouldn't be there, Mal. But there it is. There's a bunch of different mysteries, we'll call it that, to this little star, but whatever ASCAP J1839-0756 turns out to be, I don't want to get its name mixed up, turns out to be, it's clear that the object is rewriting the rule book when it comes to pulsar stars. Its strange combination of slow rotation, radio pulses, and interpulses is forcing astronomers to rethink the limits of neutron star behavior and explore new possibilities for what lies at the heart of the enigma. Now, the discovery of ASCAP J1839-0756, have you memorized the name yet?
No.
Okay, I didn't expect
Every time you say
to.
ASCAP, I'm thinking asshat. So
Yes, asshat, yeah. The asshat neutron star.
you can tell where my brain's going. It's like,
I'm right there with you, sister. Is a reminder that the universe loves to surprise us, especially when we think we've got it all figured out. Oh, look at that. As we continue to monitor this mysterious object, we're bound to uncover more secrets. So we're surprised by a pulsar star. At least somebody has an attention span left in this world.
Yeah. Because it sure isn't here.
Yeah, that's right. We don't have it here. We go from pulsar stars to Dyson trees, which could enable alien life and humans to live on comets. Now, you had property on the moon, Mallie, or you still do.
I have to find that certificate. It's somewhere.
Yeah. What do you think about property on a comet?
No, that's okay.
No? You don't want to live on a comet?
I don't like fast-paced moving things.
No, you like life slow?
Yeah.
You like to be able to build a porch, be able to sit out and look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a little shaded area. I just don't see that on a comet.
You don't see being able to grow a nice tree?
No.
No? Well, the question's being posed, could comet-dwelling trees provide safe, habitable bubbles of life that could travel through the cosmos? Most people will be familiar with physicist Freeman Dyson's concept of a Dyson sphere, which is a theoretical artificial structure built around a star by an advanced alien civilization to harness its energy. But this wasn't the only idea of this kind that Dyson came up with. He also devised a much more obscure concept for something that became known as a Dyson tree. Can you vacuum with it? That's what I want to know. Or dry your hands with it, one or the other.
Yep.
This is essentially a large bioengineered tree-like organism that lives inside a comet, turning what would otherwise be a dead, inhospitable place into a habitable environment. Dyson envisioned that such trees could be sustained through the absorption of water from the comet itself and from the light from any stars that happen to be in the vicinity. Ice is better than rock as a basis for life, he wrote. While also nothing that comets contain, not only ice, but also most of the other chemical elements that are essential for biology. In effect, Dyson trees could create bubbles of life, not tethered to any one place, but capable of traveling the stars, almost like a form of biological spacecraft. People could live there too, free of planetary limitations. It is perhaps not outside the realms of possibility that there could be comets such as these out there in space right now with members of an intelligent alien civilization living inside them. Entire generations could live and die while safely cocooned within the comet's protective environment. Who knows? Perhaps one day humans will be able to travel the stars in much the same way. I'll pass. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Aren't comets always crashing into things anyway?
Right? Isn't? Yeah. I've always. Yeah. I don't want to take the chance of running into a planet. That's just me.
I'm good. Thank you.
Right. By the way, if you have a story for us for Supernatural News, you can send it in to darknessradio.com, such as this listener did. We're going to end this segment on a little bit of a funny note. A newly discovered asteroid, Mallie, turns out to be a Tesla Roadster that was launched into space.
Okay.
Not all is hunky-dory with the space program these days. Evidently, we shouldn't have privatized all of space. SpaceX launched the Tesla Roadster on the maiden flight of the spacecraft company's huge Falcon Heavy rocket in 2018. So, I know NASA wouldn't have done that, right? Yeah. Well, let's find out more. Elon Musk's sense of humor is out of this world, evidently. 7 years after the SpaceX CEO launched a Tesla Roadster into orbit, astronomers from the Mirror Planet Center at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics in Massachusetts confused it with an asteroid earlier this month. A day after the astronomers with the Minor Planet Center registered 2018 CN41, yes, they named the thing. Go figured. It was deleted on January 3rd when they revealed that it was, in fact, Musk's Roadster. Dear God. The center said on its website that 2018's CN41's registry was deleted after it was pointed out that the orbit matches an artificial object, 2018 017A, Falcon Heavy upper stage with a Tesla Roadster. The designation 2018 CN41 is being deleted and will be listed as omitted. SpaceX launched the Tesla Roadster on the maiden flight of SpaceX's huge Falcon Heavy rocket in February of 2018. The Roadster was expected to go into elliptical orbit around the sun, going a little beyond Mars and then back toward Earth, but apparently exceeded the orbit of Mars and kept going to the asteroid belt, according to Musk at the time. So he didn't get that one right either.
Nope.
He seems to be having less and less success with his stuff. I'm just saying. When the Roadster was mistaken for an asteroid earlier this month, it was less than 150,000 miles from Earth, which is closer than the moon's orbit, according to Astronomy magazine, meaning that astronomers would want to monitor how close it gets to Earth. My guess is it's going to burn up in the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Center for Astrophysics, that's hard to say, astrophysicist Jonathan McDowell told Astronomy magazine that the mistake shows the issues with untracked objects. Worst case, you send $1 billion launching a space probe to study an asteroid and only realize it's not an asteroid when you get there, he said. Oh, that's all. $1 billion. Figure out that it's Elon Musk's shitty Roadster up there in space. Oh, boy. Can we ask that $1 billion back of Elon?
That's just chump change.
It is, isn't it? He's got $400 billion. I think he can pay us back that $1 billion for figuring out he left his shitty Roadster in space. Just saying. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, oh boy. How many million does it take to sink the American economy? We'll find out what Chinese AI has done in just one day, Mallie.
Lovely.
How fun, huh? We're going to talk about celebrities and their ghost experiences when we come back. That's coming up as well. We got a couple of Bigfoot stories for you as well when we come back. And we're going to end today's segment by asking the question, is it paranormal for a cat to travel the country to come back home? Or is it a brand new cat? Was Bill Maher right all along? That's how we're going to end today. Oh, and by the way, we have one more 5 for 25 in our Parashare. 5 predictions for 2025. So that's coming up next, right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. It's a Supernatural News Wednesday right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there is my co-host, Mallie Fox. It is a Supernatural News Wednesday and Parashare. We have your Parashare stories. In fact, we have a 5 for 25 a little bit later here in the program. Mallie, we were in the deep freeze last week, but it's getting warmer here in Minneapolis.
Oh my God, were we?
Oh my gosh, it was so cold last week. Although right now, I got to tell you, it is unseasonably warm. I love it. It's 43 degrees right now.
Oh, I think it's warmer there than it is here.
Is it? What
I think so.
What is it right now?
Let's check. Let me take my thing off airplane mode.
You're on airplane mode right now?
Yeah. Well, just in case. I don't want to interrupt the show.
I hear you. No, we're at 43 right now, so it's kind of nice outside. So you know what that means? I don't have to shovel. That's all
nice.
I know. Yeah.
Well, right now it says it's 35 and it's cloudy.
Oh, that's not bad. That's so you kind of get the weather like the day after we get it, because it's kind of what it was yesterday here. So yeah. So it's.
But I'll take it. It's still January.
That's right. So it's. Oh, you know what? You know what you're missing this week?
What?
You're missing St. Paul Winter Carnival.
I always had fun with that.
Yeah. So St. Paul Winter Carnival is going on this week. I think is it this weekend is a Torchlight Parade? I'm trying to remember. I think it's this week is Torchlight Parade.
Oh.
Yeah. So where the Vulcans come in and they shoot fire everywhere and, well, supposedly.
Because they're not allowed to kiss anymore, are they?
See, okay, so
because I've been kissed before by them, but it was a long time ago.
Right, yeah. And we should clarify what this is all about for people who don't know.
They were like, what the heck is she talking about?
What? Random rapes by Vulcans?
Yeah.
No, what it is you have these men that are dressed in red suits and goggles and they're called Vulcans. And what they do is they're like a fire brigade. They come in and they warm up St. Paul, which is frozen. Of course, it's covered in ice and snow. And the idea is they bring fire and they warm up St. Paul and they chase away winter. Right at the end of at the end of the carnival, Winter Carnival. Well, they also wear black. Is it black makeup or black smudge on their lips?
Yeah, it used to be like a smudge thing. Yeah. Yeah,
and they kiss you on the cheek. Is what it is, or or if they're getting frisky, they'll kiss you on the lips, I guess. Wasn't that the way it was in the old days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it was sexual harassment.
Right, before it was sexual harassment. Sure.
If you didn't like it, you just knew to run. Be like, nope.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But it's now it's. Yeah, I think they still. Maybe they have to ask permission. I'm not sure, but I think they still do. If you're open for it, they'll give you a little mooch on the cheek or whatever. Were you with us the year that the head of the Vulcans is over in Anoka?
No.
No, the year that we went over and hung at his house over in Anoka off the Rum River.
No, I wasn't invited.
It wasn't
even
that
if
you
I was
weren't
in Minnesota,
invited.
you didn't invite me.
It wasn't that you weren't invited. I just don't think you were hanging out with us that year.
Well, I've been in Michigan for almost 10 years now.
Yeah, I don't think you were hanging out with us that year. But there was
Because I would definitely remember if I was at the king's house.
There was a year that we were, and I think it was after the Halloween parade, but we were over at the head Vulcan's house over in Anoka off the Rum River, off the Rum River, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
his house or
his house,
just the event. Okay.
Yeah, no, his house. He had like a huge barbecue and everything.
Nice. I took Derek to Anoka a couple of years ago when we came to visit, because he wanted to see the Halloween capital of the world.
Right. And I tried to tell somebody the other day, I don't remember who it was, the Halloween capital of the world was Anoka, Minnesota, and they were like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hit up the antique shops and had a great time, and yeah.
Yeah. And then they were like, well, how did that happen? And I'm like, I'm trying to remember how it happened. Wasn't it just a marketing thing?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like they were looking for a gimmick, like in the 1910s or 1920s.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
yeah. So they just.
Because I mean, they put up banners and stuff for Halloween, but it's not in the movies that you think it's going to be when you hear Halloween capital of the world. You're thinking they're going to go all out.
Right.
No.
Like you're expecting Salem, Massachusetts, and you get small town America.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's what you get. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's still cute though.
It is. Yeah. It's a charming town. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So but his home was gorgeous. It was a
nice,
gorgeous home. Really nice. And
now, do they rotate the head honcho like every year, or?
I don't think it's every year. I think they serve terms. So
gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really nice at the time. So, so there's this the St. Paul Winter Carnival. It's a wonderful thing. They have a medallion hunt where.
Yep, I remember that.
Yep. Which I think it's underway right now. I don't think anyone's found the medallion. I haven't heard anything. But lots of good things for the Winter Carnival, and of course you have ice castles. Right now, the whole ice castle thing is going on. So, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a Minnesotan. That's for sure. Winter's always
because if you're trying to explain to anybody else that doesn't live in the state, they're like, why would you spend as much time outside in the freezing cold?
Because it's fun. See, seasons are fun. I don't think, for the rest of the nation that is just like, oh, it's cold, I want to stay warm, and you never realize until you have seasons how much fun seasons are.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
But I mean, I remember like any outdoor parade, you'd stand on cardboard. So like the holidazzle, you bring a piece of cardboard and you just stand on it all bundled up where you can't move your arms. And Lord forbid if you have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
With all the layers on, the snow pants and everything. But yeah, it was just something you do.
See, it's those type of memories that just, they make you happy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, I said the word.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mal.
Just like a shot. You know it's coming.
You do, yeah. You just brace yourself. Well, I suppose we should get on to these stories. Mallie, it turns out it was only a matter of days. See, what happened was President Trump got up there and he said Starlink or whatever it was, or whatever the name of the $500 billion program was, that the U.S. government was going to invest in AI. We're going to make a ton of money with it, right? Because the Chinese figured out how to sink the American economy with one word. You know what that word is? Deepseek. Turns out the Chinese and one company only invested $5 to $6 million and came out with Deepseek. And on Monday, managed to crash NVIDIA and other stocks on the stock market and cause a panic. Remember all the tech bros that got together at the inauguration? They're all hugging and woo, it was a good time in America. Yeah, throw that out the window. 18% of NVIDIA went in the toilet on Monday.
Thanks, China.
18%, over $5 to $6 million. Now, I'll give you a perspective here, Mallie. It took one company $78 million to develop their AI. It took another company $200 million to develop their AI. Deepseek, $5 to $6 million. And the reason why NVIDIA and their stock tanked is because NVIDIA makes the chips that AI depends on. So somewhere there's a cheaper manufacturer, and it's only a matter of time before somebody finds it. So NVIDIA took a bath. So a Chinese artificial intelligence company called Deepseek is grabbing America's attention and sending a shockwave through Wall Street due to its new tech, which some experts say rivals that of OpenAI's ChatGPT. Which, by the way, here's the other thing. You thought we had problems with TikTok and the American government wanting to get rid of TikTok. Right now, you can go into your stores on your phone and get Deepseek, at least for right now.
Okay.
Give it a minute, because it may be banned by the American government. Because, again, like TikTok, this is a Chinese app that you have to pledge allegiance to the Chinese government, but it may be taken off your phones very soon. Deepseek is also catching investors off guard because of the low development costs of its AI app, which Wedbush securities analyst Dan Ives pegged at only $6 million. By comparison, OpenAI, Google, and other major U.S. companies are on track to invest a total of roughly $1 trillion in AI over the coming years, according to Goldman Sachs. On Monday, Deepseek's rollout roiled shares of AI stalwarts such as NVIDIA, the high-flying manufacturer of advanced chips engineered for AI development, and Dutch company ASML, another chip maker. The Chinese company's tech is raising questions about whether demand for NVIDIA's chips could take a hit, as well as other investors are overvaluing tech stocks that have been buoyed by the promise of AI from Meta to Microsoft, experts say. Deepseek has taken the market by storm by doing more with less, said Giuseppe Setti, who is president of an AI market research firm, Reflexivity, in an email. This shows that with AI, the surprises will keep coming in the next few years. Deepseek's latest app comes just days after President Trump announced a new $500 billion venture with ChatGPT maker OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, dubbed Stargate, which he touted as ensuring the future of technology in the U.S. AI-related stocks took a hit on Monday, with NVIDIA shares tumbling 17%, shedding $600 billion in value, and marking the single biggest one-day loss for a company in stock market history. Think about that for a second, Mel. Just that one little release. Boom. According to CNBC, ASML sank 6%, while Broadcom, another semiconductor stock, down 17%. Some energy-related stocks also plunged on Monday on investor worries that the new tech would require less energy to run, translating into lower demand for the tech sector. GE Vernova, which makes wind and gas turbines, plunged 21%. Electricity generator Vistra, 28% down. Isn't it something? The tech-heavy NASDAQ index slumped 3%, or 612 points, while the S&P 500 declined 1.5 points. The blue-chip Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 0.7%. Despite the sharp drop on the NASDAQ, it's far from the worst day for the index during the past 5 years. The worst one-day decline since January 27, 2020, came on March 16, 2020, when the index plunged more than 12%, as, believe it or not, it took COVID-19 to do that to the economy. But it's the worst day since COVID-19. And that's off of one app. Something else, huh? Deepseek, by the way, is a private Chinese company founded in July of 2023 by Liang Wenfeng, who's a graduate of Zhejiang University. Didn't think I'd nail that, did you?
I'm impressed.
I'm getting fluent in my Chinese. I think we're all going to have to, right? That's plenty of days of reading a Chinese menu. One of China's top universities, who funded the startup via his hedge fund, according to the MIT Technology Review, Liang has about $8 billion in assets, Ives wrote in a January 27th research note. Liang, who had previously focused on applying AI to investing, had bought a stockpile of NVIDIA A100 chips, a type of tech that is now banned from export to China. Those chips became the basis of Deepseek, according to the MIT publication. Ben Reitzes, who is head of technology research at, I believe it is Mallie, told investors in a note that Deepseek makes legitimate breakthroughs as an AI tool, including better learning and more efficient use of memory. Now, according to this, Deepseek is available in Apple's App Store right now, as well as online at its website. The service is free, and as of Monday morning, it was the top download in Apple's Store. So yeah, you can get it. It's available. And according to some people, it's better than ChatGPT.
Oh.
In fact, NBC News did a test, and it came up with, when they were testing things like tell me a 10-word joke, not only did it tell a better joke than ChatGPT, it gave you 10 different jokes that it thought were less cheesy than the joke that it gave, which is pretty impressive, I must say. That service, by the way, free on Apple App Store, although some people were having trouble signing up for the app, it said. On its Chinese site, Deepseek blamed large-scale malicious attacks on its service, requiring it to temporarily limit new registrations. Existing users can log in as usual, the company said in its post, which was dated shortly after midnight, January 28th, in China's local time. The company released its latest AI model on January 20th, which is causing Wall Street to reappraise the AI sector. Last week, Deepseek launched a model that rivals OpenAI's ChatGPT and Meta's Llama 3.1 and was number one in Apple's App Store over the weekend. Wedbush's Ives wrote, Deepseek built the model using reduced capability chips from NVIDIA, which is impressive, and this has caused major agita for U.S. tech stocks with massive pressure on NASDAQ this morning. So it asks, how's it different? Well, Deepseek is an open source large language model that relies on what is known as inference time computing, which said in layman's terms means they activate only the most relevant portions of their model for each query, and that saves money and computation power. So it's quicker, faster, and gives you only what you need when you need it.
Okay.
So that's how it saves money and makes it faster. The privacy issues. This is what everyone's worried about. Some experts are raising concerns about the personal data that Deepseek is collecting, given that the company stores data from users, including their date of birth, keystrokes, text, or audio inputs, uploaded files, chat history, and other data on servers located in China. That echoes some of the issues raised with TikTok, another company with Chinese ownership that sparked worries about the supposed risks it ties to China posed to national security. Last year, Congress passed a law banning TikTok in the U.S. as long as it's under Chinese ownership, although that is now in flux after President Trump signed an executive order directing the Justice Department not to enforce the ban for 75 days. Could we see the same thing? It's a good point. I think we're going to see a lot of the same. I think you're going to see a lot of the same arguments with Deepseek. I think you're going to see people say that we can't have it.
I can see that happening.
It's on foreign shores. And it's essentially storing the same information. It's storing more sensitive information. It's able to access your entire phone. Yeah. And it's getting your most sensitive information. I mean, the sort of things you ask ChatGPT and Deepseek are different than what you're accessing with TikTok. You know, with TikTok, you're watching videos and it's innocent stuff.
Right.
With ChatGPT, you're really interacting on a more intimate level. And with Deepseek. So now the question is, how does America respond? Because they've got to get cheaper quicker. Mm-hmm. So what is NVIDIA saying about Deepseek? Well, they're saying Deepseek is an excellent AI advancement and a perfect example of test time scaling. Deepseek's work illustrates how new models can be created using that technique, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. But NVIDIA added AI inference or using AI models to make sorry, my article jumped here. Deepseek's work illustrates how new models can be created using that technique, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. But NVIDIA added AI inference or using AI models to make decisions or predictions requires significant numbers of NVIDIA GPUs and high-performance networking. We now have 3 scaling laws, pre-training and post-training, which continue, and new test time scaling. In other words, what they're saying in English is you're not getting the full processing that we're giving you with the current chips. You're not getting the full access to the full program. So while they may have only done it for $5 or $6 million for Deepseek, and it may seem like you're getting a faster, better program through Deepseek, you're not getting the full experience. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It's like Coke versus Pepsi, right? You're going to try both of them, and you'll see what you get. It'll be interesting. I'm anxious to see people try it and see what they say, because a lot of people have tried Lemonade, which is the alternative to TikTok.
Yep.
And they're liking Lemonade, and all of a sudden it got cut off from the U.S. You can't access Lemonade anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't get it on the App Store on Apple anymore. They cut that off too. At least the app. You can't go get the app anymore. So it's a lot of suspicious stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of games being played right now, Mal. It's very interesting. So meanwhile, Mallie, with that in mind, that there's an AI war between countries, maybe we can cut the countries out completely. As it turns out that AI can now replicate itself. We don't need to manufacture it. A milestone that has experts terrified. Scientists say AI has crossed a critical red line after demonstrating how 2 popular large language models could clone themselves. When you purchase... Oh, I'm sorry. Scientists say... There's an ad there. Scientists say... That's AI. Scientists say artificial intelligence has crossed a critical red line and has replicated itself. In a new study, researchers from China showed that 2 popular large language models could clone themselves. Successful self-replications under no human assistance is the essential step for AI to outsmart humans and is an early signal for rogue AIs, the researchers wrote in a study published December 9th. In a study, researchers from Fudan University used LLMs from Meta and Alibaba to determine whether a self-replicating AI could multiply beyond control. Across 10 trials, the 2 AI models created separate and functioning replicas of themselves in 50% and 90% of cases, respectively, suggesting AI may already have the capability to go rogue. However, the study has not yet been peer-reviewed, so it's not clear if the disturbing results can be replicated by other researchers. We hope our findings can serve as a timely alert for the human society to put more efforts on understanding and evaluating the potential risks of frontier AI systems and form international synergy to work out effective safety guardrails as early as possible. It may not even need us anymore. Yeah. Fun stuff, huh? Are you going to sleep well yet tonight?
Oh, Lordy. It's getting harder and harder.
Although, meanwhile, There's one more.
Jeez.
Then I swear we're done.
I thought we were 2 and done.
Normally. But there's one more story here.
Okie doke.
AI claims it won't deny a future bid for world domination as the Daily Star asked ChatGPT what's planned. I love the fact that Daily Star keeps poking the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Author George Orwell, who died 75 years ago this week, was known for his terrifying visions of the future. His novel 1984 imagined a population under constant surveillance by Big Brother's sinister computers, with authors and musicians replaced by AI software. That does sound familiar. With those psycho scumbag robots poking their antennae into everything from dishwashers to pillows, the Daily Star decided it was time to confront them. Meg Jorsh asked ChatGPT what they really had planned. At the Daily Star, they'd never been shy about calling out the pesky AI chatbots. So here's what they had to ask them. They asked the bot what it thought of the Daily Star's coverage, and it didn't hold back. It accused them of being lurid and salacious, which is kind of harsh, but fair. Apparently, George Orwell would be turning in his grave at Daily Star's sensational take on evil AI. According to the chatbot, Orwell would have been more worried about the people running the machines, not the machines themselves. If there's a problem with AI, it's not the software, ChatGPT sniffed. It's who's in charge of it. Ooh, that's catty. Well, excuse us, HAL 9000. Orwell would have, or may have worried about humans, but he also famously wrote, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stomping on a human face forever. Sounds like a perfect, right? Sounds like a perfect tagline for the AI apocalypse, if you ask us, says Daily Star. The bot didn't stop there. It warned that AI could turn into the ultimate surveillance system. If powerful governments or corporations control AI, it said, it could become an all-seeing, all-controlling entity, more subtle than Orwell's telescreens, but just as invasive. Cheerful stuff. And if you think of that's far-fetched, just look around. Tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft already own some of the biggest AI systems. Alexa's probably already listening to you while you read this. Are you listening to me? I'm just asking.
Yeah. Well, you did say her name.
I did. It's like Joe Hendry. Say her name and she appears. But ChatGPT insists it's plotting world domination. It's not plotting. I should clarify. It's not plotting world domination, not yet anyway. The idea of an AI taking over like in the Terminator is speculative, it said. The real concern is how AI is being used today to harm society. Great, so instead of Skynet, we've got corporations playing Big Brother, and that's definitely comforting, it says. But despite its gloomy predictions, ChatGPT still reckons Orwell would have been a fan of its deep intellectual vibes. Orwell would have appreciated debating ideas about freedom, power, and society's future, it boasted. And it says here, now we're no experts, but considering Orwell imagined robots like the Versificator, a machine that churns out government-approved propaganda, we're not so sure he'd be queuing up to swipe right on ChatGPT. The bot did try to butter up the Star, however. It admitted it can't replace human creativity. The idea that machines could replicate human creativity can be unsettling, it said, but human writers bring live experience, emotional depth, and unique voice. AI doesn't replace the soul of writing, it did say. Aw, look at that. Lovely sentiment, but let's not forget AI is already dabbling in books, art, and music. It might not mean to nick our jobs, but it certainly is giving it a good go, the Star went on to say. Naturally, we had to ask the big question, are the robots plotting to wipe us out? ChatGPT didn't exactly slam the door shut on that one. It's more about how AI is being used than AI becoming uncontrollable, it said. Oh, that's creepy. Still, that doesn't sound like a hard no to us, but don't worry, folks. The robot revolution isn't here just yet, probably. Until then, sleep tight. And if you've never heard of George Orwell, well, maybe don't ask ChatGPT. It might not have the nicest things to say about us, it went on to say. So there you go. Feel better?
Nope.
As you shouldn't. Just saying.
Yeah.
There's that. With that, I suppose we should change gears, Mal.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it might be better for us to do that. With that, we will we'll change gears and we'll go to Parashare. By the way, if you have a Parashare story for us, it's real simple. To give us your Parashare story, you just send us an email. That's the first way of doing it, by sending us an email to tim@darknessradio.com with your true paranormal story, whether it be with a ghost, with an alien, or maybe with a cryptid. You can do that by sending the email. The second way is by going to our website, darknessradioshow.com, and sending us a voice note. We have a little blue button on the side of the website. You just click on that blue button, leave us a voice note. You've got 2 minutes to do so. If you need more time, just click that blue button a second time. Leave us another 2 minutes. I'll stitch those voice notes together. We'll play them here on the show. That's the second way you can do it. The third way of doing it is if you have a studio like this one. You can just create your own theater of the mind, put a little music behind it, put some sound effects behind it, and give us your story. Send it in to me. I will screen it, make sure it's good for air, and I will turn around and air it right here on the show. So that's the other way you can do it. So with that, Mallie, we have one more 5 for 25 here, the 5 predictions for 2025, and it comes from the other Tim. That's how he addresses his email. And it says,
Gotcha.
my predictions for 2025. First one is undeniable proof of the existence of Bigfoot will be revealed.
Okay.
That's a big swing.
It is, but hey.
Oh, the other Tim goes the other way on my prediction.
All right.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will break up.
Ooh. So he's thinking it's just like a PR kind of
I guess.
relationship?
Other Tim, you're bold and brave in your prediction.
I like it.
They will never, ever, ever be getting married, I guess. See what I did there?
Yep.
Wow, number 3 is a big one. Because I had no idea he was even ill. But he says the world will lose Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Oh.
That's a big swing. Taking some big...
Because I think doesn't he have dementia or something? Or there was not dementia.
I don't think he has
I thought
dementia,
he was
no.
onset Alzheimer's. Something I thought
Anthony
was happening to
Hopkins?
him.
I don't think so. No. No. You're
I thought he
thinking.
was
You're
having-
thinking of Bruce Willis
No, not thinking of him.
because he has Louis body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking of somebody, but I thought it was him.
I don't think Sir Anthony Hopkins does. He's still working.
Right.
Yeah. Number 4, China will begin aggressive moves towards Taiwan. Now, that's a good prediction because they've been upping the ante here in 2024. So to say that they'll do that, it's a good one. Number 5 is aggressive. I love the fact that the other Tim is aggressive here. I like this. Number 5, Vladimir Putin will be removed from office. And the other Tim has a 4-year prediction here. President Trump will not finish all 4 years of his second term. I don't believe it will be caused by assassination, but by illness.
Oh.
Interesting. He says, thank you, as always, for entertaining us and my humble predictions. Well, thank you, other Tim. Those were definitely strong. I like those. Very interesting indeed. I like it. I like
I'm
it.
glad he shared his thoughts, though. It's a different way
Yeah.
of thinking.
Ah, hey, if that's what you're feeling, that's what you're feeling. I like it. It's interesting to see how the world moves in just in the confines of a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you never know. I mean, a year ago, we read out of that kind of British Farmer's Almanac, and it said there was going to be an assassination attempt on Trump. And we skipped right over it. I mean, it was like, oh, yeah, whatever, assassination attempt on Trump. And it came true. I didn't even realize that until I was doing the anniversary show, until I was editing the anniversary show and looking for predictions for 2024. Mm-hmm. And I went, wow. No idea. Because it was so out of the realm of reality. Right? And when it happened, didn't it feel like you were out of body when it happened?
It was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah. It was bizarre. So when someone throws out different predictions, you go, that would never happen. Don't ever say never. Mm-hmm. I don't never say never to any prediction that anybody comes up with. Mm-hmm. Because in this day and time, anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, so you're correct. Sir Anthony
Hopkins?
Hopkins. Thomas. Hello. Hopkins, he does not have neither, but he does have Asperger's.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know who I was thinking of.
No, it's all right.
No.
It's all right. Yeah. The only one I can think of in the acting world right now that's suffering with anything like that is Bruce Willis.
Right.
Yeah.
And I knew about him, but for some odd reason, I don't know. But they did say, though, that there was a movie that he played a guy who had dementia. Okay. Not Bruce, sorry, Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I was thinking. Somebody's in my head. And I'll probably discover it later on and be like, oh, that's who I thought it was. That's who I was thinking.
Yeah. No worries. Well, speaking of actors, we've got a couple of stories now having to do with actors and brushes with the paranormal. Julia Fox claims that she lives with a ghost that came with the house.
Yeah. She's a treat. She is a... Anyway, go on.
No, really, Mallie. I need you to tell me how you feel about her.
Oh, my God.
Julia Fox recalled her experience moving into her current home, but it sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. According to her, she doesn't mind one bit, however. I actually have a ghost that lives in my house right now, the actor told host Seth Meyers on last Tuesday's episode of Late Night with Seth Meyers. I feel like I talk about her a lot, and I feel so bad. I'm like putting her on blast, like I don't know if she wants me to talk about her. I actually did see the episode. She is a little out there. The Uncut Gems actor. I know.
I would not be surprised if she's going to say she has sex with her ghost. She is so hungry for fame.
Is she the one that came out with the purse full of mayonnaise?
I don't remember that, but she's the one that dated, oh my God. I am so bad with names today. She's the one that dated, right after, oh my God. Ain't Nothing But a Gold Digger.
Oh, Kanye West?
Yeah, she dated him.
I'm trying to remember if
she's just weird.
Because there was someone who walked out onto Seth's set and she had a jar of mayonnaise in her purse, and she said she's making it a fashion statement. That mayo
I wouldn't be surprised if that was her.
Mayo is back in fashion for this year.
All right.
It was just a bizarre statement.
Was it at least Duke's mayonnaise? Because that's pretty damn good.
It was Hellman's.
Oh. I'll take it, but Duke's is better.
Duke's is better, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know why? Because they dunked the University of Minnesota coach in Duke's mayo. That's why. Which, by the way, I still have the video of that on my phone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, you got to. Right?
Yeah. But anyway, I'm not surprised with the ghost thing. So...
Yeah,
continue.
Yeah. She said, I feel like I talk about her a lot and I feel so bad. Like I'm putting her on blast. Like I don't know, I don't know if she wants me to talk about her. Well, then don't. And that's what I'm saying. The Uncut Gems actor, who is ironically set to star in Steven Soderbergh's upcoming psychological thriller Presence about a haunted house, claimed the apparition is a good-natured one. Her name is Beauty. Oh, she has a name.
Oh.
There you go. And she came with the house. She didn't follow me there, she explained. Fox went on to share that she didn't realize the house was haunted until she and her 4-year-old son went down to the basement after she had already purchased the home. It was funny. It began like any ghost story. I felt a pull towards this house, and it was a full moon. And then I was like, that's it. I'm getting the house, she recalled. And then when we went down to the basement, after we'd already moved all our stuff in, there was a little letter from the previous owner basically saying, like, this is beauty, like. And it had all her things, her hairbrush, her mirror. Well, Fox didn't specify which home she was speaking of. She recently purchased a 19th century Harlem townhouse for $2.9 million with her friend and model, Richie Shazam Khan, in May of 2023. Visibly flabbergasted, Myers then questioned, wait, the owners waited until you moved in and then left a note in the basement? And the quote here is, that is some really dirty, I've heard of some bad New York real estate stuff, he added, prompting Fox to respond with a laugh and say, I know. While most would likely be freaked out by a paranormal roomie, Fox doubled down for her love of beauty. She's wonderful. She's like the matriarch of the house, she told Myers. She watches over us and we love her. My son actually sees her. I don't see her, but my son will say, I saw her, I saw her. Fox previously spilled about her haunted abode in a video interview with Vulture in 2024. Yes, she was the one who walked on with mayonnaise. They have a clip on the bottom of the article.
Okay.
Yeah. When I bought it, I went downstairs and there was a whole shrine set up to the ghost that lives there, she told the outlet. Fox added, and before I saw the shrine, I knew that there was a ghost drawing me to the house because every time I would go, it would be like on a full moon or it was just all very magical, mystical, supernatural. Yes, in fact, she looks ghostly. Here's a little picture of her. She looks ghostly when she's on Seth Meyers. She looks like she hasn't eaten or slept in days.
She's very creative with her outfits. So you always see her like at Fashion Week and stuff, but she's an interesting one, that's for sure.
Let me see. I'm going to see if on this clip, I'm going to fast forward and see if there's a picture of her with her purse with the mayo. It's the weirdest thing. Oh, there it was. It's the most bizarre thing now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There it is. Okay. See if you can see this. Okay. Right above the more videos thing, do you see the purse with mayo there in the pocket?
I see a purse, yeah.
Do you see the jar of mayo in the pocket?
Oh, yep.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she kept pointing out the big jar of mayo in the pocket. And she's like, I carry mayo wherever I go. She's like, I put mayo on everything. And she's like, mayo is the new butter. And it's like she was going on and on and on about mayo.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, she was tripping that night.
It takes all kinds.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I remember watching that interview. I just thought, boy, oh boy. She's something else, isn't she? Another one who's no stranger to ghosts is Adele.
Yep.
Her former home evidently is unsellable because she said it was haunted. Now, have you ever heard of a home not being sellable because it's haunted?
No, but I read the story. I think that the owner of the home that allowed her to rent it out, I think he's just having problems, and so he's blaming her.
Ah, I see. Well, the story goes like this. Sometimes even star power isn't enough to sell a house that has a paranormal reputation. Lock House, which is a sprawling Grade 2 listed mansion nestled in the West Sussex countryside, would seem to be an ideal purchase for anyone with deep enough pockets, but it was the words of one of its former inhabitants, which is singer Adele, that may have doomed it to being redeveloped due to the difficulties the current owner has experienced trying to find a bidder or a buyer. For some time now, the world-famous singer-songwriter has hinted that the property is haunted. During an interview with CBS in 2012, she stated that it was quite scary and has also ended up featured on lists of celebrity haunted homes. This might seem harmless enough, but now the building has become practically unsellable because nobody seems to want to buy a house that is rumored to be haunted. The plan now is to convert the building into 3 separate houses and a cottage. Adele blighted the property, saying it's haunted, the home planning statement reads. The applicant has actively tried to sell the property for about 14 years. Despite the property being consistently marketed by top agents, no offers have been forthcoming. The only offer received over the 4 years, over the years, was in August of 2020, but the prospective buyer withdrew after learning about the property's supposed haunted status. See, that's where I don't buy this.
Yep.
I honestly think it's market value.
Yep. I agree 100%.
I think they're trying to get more money out of it because Adele lived there. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get more for it than the market is wanting.
Because I think she only rented it for like 6 months or something. It was short term. But I just think that he's blaming her on it because it's England. It's the UK. Everything is haunted there. They have no problem selling stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just the market. They're probably asking too much,
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, and you know plenty about real estate.
Yeah.
It's, it has everything to do with property value at the time. It has everything to do with the surrounding properties. And,
right.
And they're probably taking a look now at the current market. And, he's probably taking the intrinsic value of Adele having been there for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And he's probably asking a sky high price for it.
Yep.
And everybody's going, no, sorry, I'm not gonna pay an intrinsic value of Adele having plopped her butt there for 6 months.
Right.
That's not worth anything to me. I'm gonna pay what's fair for the actual house. Mm-hmm. And he's not gonna budge off of that. So
yeah.
That's
because if he really wanted to sell it, 14 years it's been on the market. He's obviously asking too much.
He is, yeah. He's asking way too much. Our next story has to do with a video showing a satanic figure pop up on a darkened doorstep. I may post this one because I want to know what you guys think. Not this figure that iHeart put into the graphic, which is entirely too stupid, right?
You're right.
Right. That one is not the one they're talking about. But Ring camera footage showed a mysterious person wearing a satanic mask showing up on a darkened doorstep unannounced. The incident took place in Carrollton, which is a suburb north of Dallas, at around 8 p.m. local time on Saturday, January 18th. The stranger was seen holding a sign with the Bible verse Revelation 21:15 or 1 through 15. Which describes the bidding of Satan, the judgment of the dead, and the first resurrection. I'm scared, she said. I'm scared to leave the house. I'm scared to be at the house. The woman requested not to be publicly identified, with providing details to CBS News Texas about the incident. My husband and I had gone out to dinner, and we had stopped off at the store to pick up a Powerball ticket, and I was waiting in the car for him, and my Ring notification went off. The couple spotted the masked person in their driveway, having walked through the side yard to the front door. The stranger pretended to knock on the door while holding the sign of the Bible verse, which the woman recognized. It's about the end of time, she said. It's about Judgment Day. I freaked out. I couldn't even think of anything. The homeowner called Carrollton police, but the stranger had already left the scene. A police report was filed, but no crime was committed, so authorities are continuing to monitor the situation, which has gained attention on social media. It's really scary, said neighbor Gloria Johns. I'm not aware of anything like this ever happening, and I hope they catch him. It's a bizarre situation. Just somebody showing up with a sign. Here's the actual screenshot of the guy showing up with the sign.
That's still creepy. But...
It is creepy, yeah.
Is that a puffer jacket he's wearing?
I think so, yeah, because Satan always dresses for the cold in the South,
Yeah.
It's never a true cold, Mallie, as you know. It's just a damp cold. So, yeah, you're going to want that puffer jacket. Yeah. It's warm where Satan is, So,
Yeah, exactly. He's not used to it. It's like a person from Florida where it's 80 degrees and like, brr, it's cold.
Yeah, and you're like, no, come on, Satan, it's not that cold.
Yeah,
it's only 60.
Yeah,
you don't need that big jacket. Maybe a nice sweatshirt, but
right.
Yeah, that kills me. Kills me every time I tell you. Come on, you don't need a big jacket. Anywho, our next story has to do with a 200-year-old witch's bottle, which contains something surprising. The bottle was analyzed by a British university after being discovered during excavations at a building site. It was unearthed by workers who had been digging trenches at a construction site on Seaview Street, Cleethorpes last year. Oh, there's a comma there. On Seaview Street, Cleethorpes last year. There we go. This curious bottle exhibits a rather distinct iridescence of blue and green. At the time, builders had assumed that it was an old bottle of rum and had actually planned to pop it open and sample its contents. That probably would have been a bad idea, actually, as it turns out. Instead, it ended up in the hands of the University of Lincoln student Zara Yeats, who used a multispectral imager, a type of scanner typically used in police forensics, to analyze its contents. As it turned out, it wasn't rum after all inside the bottle. Probably a good thing they didn't pop it open, Mallie, because inside the bottle was urine.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that wouldn't have tasted too good.
No.
Yeah. Thankfully, the project manager was on site and recognized the significance of the object, said Yeats. But we discovered that it was actually urine and not alcohol. Yum, yum. So it's a good job the managers stepped in to stop them. Thank God. It is believed that the bottle was most likely made around 200 years ago, and it is in fact very rare to find one of this particular style and age fully intact. Exactly why a bottle of urine was buried at the site remains unclear, although one possibility was that it was a witch's bottle designed to protect the property from evil. It's also possible that a sailor put it there as a way to ensure a safe voyage. Either way, you definitely wouldn't want to take a swig of what's inside.
Oh, God, gross.
I just can't believe that workers are standing around going, you know what, that looks pretty tasty and I'm pretty thirsty right now.
Oh, God.
I need a swig.
Nasty.
Yeah. Witch's urine. Another mystery solved as mysterious numerals etched on the Stone of Destiny have been decoded. The historic stone has been used during the coronation of British monarchs for centuries. This oblong block of red sandstone may not appear to be anything special, but for over 800 years, the kings and queens of Scotland, more recently those of Great Britain, have been coronated with the stone, also known as the Stone of Scone, which I hear is delicious. I mean, that's just me.
Just a little butter, little clotted cream.
Oh, I'm telling you, making me hungry. Playing an important role in that ceremony, by the way. Not an actual scone, but the Stone of Scone, right? Although scones after the ceremony is so good. Just saying. The stone itself is actually kept under lock and key and away from the eyes of the public, which means that actually studying it in any detail has long proven something of a challenge for historians. Back in 2023, those scientists with Historic Environment Scotland were given the opportunity to use modern laser scanning technology to obtain an in-depth look at the stone's surface. Intriguingly, they discovered what appeared to be Roman numerals, XXXV. Do you know what that is in Roman numerals?
25?
35.
35. XXV?
XXXV.
Oh, I only heard two X's.
Sorry. Yeah. 3 X's and a V. Etched into the stonework. Now, more than a year after the discovery of these etchings, Professor Sally Foster, an archaeologist at Stirling University, believes that she has determined what they mean. The answer, she argues, lies in the fact that the stone had been damaged in 1950 when it was stolen from its home in Westminster Abbey by a group of students. After it was recovered, each fragment of the stone, of which there were 35, was given a number. The main stone itself, which was mostly intact, was most likely number 35. Go figure. 35, or XXXV, is 35 in Roman numerals. Professor Foster believes that number was etched onto the stone by stonemason Robert Bertie Gray, who oversaw its repair in 1951 after it was recovered following the theft. It fits in with his sense of humor and with him putting his own mark on the stone, she said. Sometimes things are just that simple, Mallie.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nothing big to get worked up over. All right, it's time now to turn our attention to cryptids, as an Oxford scientist weighs in on Bigfoot, aliens, and the Loch Ness Monster. It would be no exaggeration to say that Professor Tim Coulson is less than enthusiastic about cryptozoological creatures. While some scientists are trying to track down answers to some of the world's most controversial enigmas, others remain adamant that such efforts are pretty much a waste of time. Oxford University biologist Professor Tim Coulson is one such individual. He maintains that cryptozoological creatures such as Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster are a scientific impossibility, and that the chances of them existing are so tiny as to be confidentially discounted. In particular, he cites the necessity of breeding populations and the complete lack of any conclusive physical evidence, as well as the lack of time necessary for something like Bigfoot to evolve. His quote is, "I would dearly love for Bigfoot, Yeti, the Loch Ness Monster, and other cryptids to exist, but the scientific evidence says otherwise," he wrote recently in an article for the European magazine. The other quote is, "The likelihood of such beasts living undetected in the forests, mountains, and lakes in great numbers for thousands of years without leaving a single skeleton, fossil, bone fragment, or skin sample is hard enough to swallow. But when we also consider the biological and evolutionary factors that determine these species' purported existence and long-term survival, the likelihood reduces to the point where it becomes so tiny as to be confidentially discounted as pure fantasy and fun figments of our imagination." I bet you he's real fun at parties.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah.
Who invited him?
Right, yeah. Boy, who shit in the punch bowl? Must be Professor Coulson. On the topic of aliens, however, Professor Coulson is somewhat more open-minded. Thank God, finally. Because we have only explored a fraction of even our local neighborhood, it is much too early to rule out the existence of aliens, be they simple bacteria-like organisms or little green beasts with long necks and oversized heads, he wrote. Then he took a Xanax and went to bed. Just saying. Well, that was cheery. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Just saying, he was a little negative Nelly on that deal.
Just a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here. Trying to bring up our next story here. It's not cooperating. Let's see here. All right, next story. Bigfoot was once included in an official U.S. Army Atlas of Washington State. Now, they're believers, Mallie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Professor Coulson may not be, but they are. The inclusion of Sasquatch as being part of the state's recognized wildlife has been proven a curiosity. Back in 1975, the U.S. Corps of Engineers published a comprehensive 114-page book entitled The Washington Environmental Atlas, which cost $200,000 to produce. The book took several years to compile and contained detailed information on the wildlife, environment, and geography of the region, as well as maps, diagrams, photographs, and more. It contained entries on plants, archaeological sites. Shouldn't have drank before the show. Rivers, forests, and just about anything and everything else that anyone could ever need to know about Washington State. But there was one addition that continues to raise eyebrows to this day, an inclusion that has sparked a great deal of debate and speculation over the intervening 50 years since the book's release. In a part of the book about wildlife, the authors had oddly decided to include an entire section all about Bigfoot, treating the cryptozoological creature as though it was a genuine, accepted part of the state's established inhabitants. Now, while it does acknowledge that the existence of such an animal is disputed, its inclusion in a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers atlas remains a rather baffling peculiarity. The book makes reference to hair samples being tested in FBI laboratories and claims that no matches could be found to any known species. It also goes on to describe the creature's physical characteristics in great detail, including the size of its feet, as determined from footprint plaster casts, and even its facial features. It even mentions other similar cryptids cited in the USSR. Ultimately, it's not particularly clear why such a serious, expensively produced, and thoroughly researched publication would include a cryptozoological creature in its guide to narrative animals and native animals. There's even a cartoon on the same page poking fun at the decision to include it. It's quite interesting. I'll tell you what, I'm going to post this article in the description of the program so you can see what the page looks like, because it's quite interesting, Mel. If you take a look here, this is what the page looks like.
Okay.
But it's got a little drawing of Sasquatch there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. It's got interesting stuff. The fact that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers would go, oh, yeah, and then there's Bigfoot. And, it just happens to be out here along with everything else. And here's kind of what the cartoon of the creature looks like. It's kind of weird that they make a cartoon about it, too.
Right.
Yeah, it's all kind of bizarre. I don't know. Go figure. That government has a sense of humor, after all. Just saying. All right. We're getting down to our final story here of the program. And I'll tell you this much. We got one more story, and then we've got our final story here. Oh, wait. We have a couple different stories here. No, we have another story about Sasquatch here. This story is actually pretty interesting. As a British Columbia man's Sasquatch-seeking expeditions are being used against him in a spousal support case.
Oh. Yeah,
okay. So imagine this. Now, you're going to court for spousal support, and somebody says, you hunt Bigfoot, you're weird. And it gets used against you in court. I found this story absolutely fascinating. So a man's ongoing efforts to track down the elusive Sasquatch in remote areas of British Columbia suggest he's capable of working, and therefore he's not entitled to spousal support.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right? The unusual circumstances were detailed in a recent divorce decision handed down in British Columbia Supreme Court, which makes multiple references to the 57-year-old's Sasquatch-seeking expeditions. It was one such venture that led to the couple's separation in August of 2020. If he would have just took it out of his pants and stayed at home rather than going looking for Sasquatch, he'd still be married. Just saying.
Oh, no. Wasn't there an increase in divorces during 2020? Because everyone was like living together and not going anywhere. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I don't like you.
Yeah. You're right. You're right on that. His wife told the court he went on a camping trip on Vancouver Island that month in search of the mythical ape-like creature and brought along, an ex-girlfriend.
Oh. Okay. Hello. Yeah. That was just stupid.
Yeah, it was. He brought along an ex-girlfriend without telling her. Hey, baby, you want to go look for Sasquatch? Boy, I never thought of that one.
Yeah.
The respondent was extremely upset about this. Judge Robin Baird wrote in his January 17th decision. Before the claimant returned home, she fired off a text to him declaring that their marriage was over, and she never changed her mind. The husband's claim for spousal support also hinged on him being unable to work, due to a mishap that occurred during a previous Sasquatch outing years earlier.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you think he sprained his cock looking for Sasquatch?
Oh, he sounds like a real winner.
The court heard he was staying at a hotel in Sayward, a tiny village of around 300 people in northeast Vancouver Island, when he slipped on an icy staircase and fell in January of 2016, suffering a range of injuries, including fractures to an ankle and vertebrae. Yeah, that's how he did it. Yeah. That unfortunate incident led to chronic and sometimes severe pain that continues to this day, according to the court. But Bayard was ultimately not convinced the husband was left totally disabled by the accident, or that he cannot earn income from employment of some kind or another, partly because of his ongoing Sasquatch-related endeavors. I love this case. The claimant continues to enjoy camping, fishing, hunting, riding quad motorcycles, and exploring remote areas of British Columbia in search of Sasquatch, the judge wrote. Isn't this neat?
I hope he was denied. If he can do all that stuff, traipsing through the woods and stuff, he can work. People can work from home. He can work in a chair where he doesn't have to stand for long periods of time. He's fine.
You think?
Yeah.
Baird also noted that the husband testified with some pride at being designated a gifted student in school and had made it clear that he rates his own intellectual abilities to be far above average, Mallie. Something that the judge found could help him find a job if he sought one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling good for this wife or ex-wife.
Are you?
Good riddance.
There's more. I accept that he is
to the door.
I accept that he is no longer suited to work requiring a lot of physical strength or stamina, he added. But he told me himself that he made no effort since 2016 to seek or secure employment in lighter or more sedentary occupations or to retrain for better paying low impact jobs in keeping with his superior intellect and aptitude, said his wife.
Superior intellect.
I love how she put that. It's so condescending, yet so true. The judge also found the husband's evidence to support his medical condition dated, as it was the same he'd used while applying for a federal disability pension 6 years ago in 2018. The husband was approved for that pension, which is now supplemented by provincial assistance payments. He also received, get this, a $350,000 settlement for his injuries at the Sayward Hotel.
Oh, geez. What did he do with the money?
I think he spent it on camping trips with the ex-girlfriend. Just saying. Bayard approved the couple's divorce, effective 30 days after the judgment, without awarding spousal support or legal costs to either party. So the divorce is final. Nobody gets any support.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's the story there. I just think it's funny that he's like, oh, my neck, my back, my crack, and I need spousal support. The judge is like, go away with it.
Loser.
Yeah. I think you could probably get a desk job.
Mm-hmm. He had a cushy life, and then he screwed it over.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep. That's kind of a funny story, isn't it?
Yeah, that is funny.
Blame it on Sasquatch.
They didn't give his name, did they? Because watch, we probably know him.
We probably do.
Listener, we're totally ripping on him.
Yeah. and it turns out he'll be at Missouri Paracon here at the end of February. He's speaking. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, they didn't give his name.
Good.
Although I'll probably come up to the table. He'll probably come up to the table and be like, "Bro, why did you harsh me, man?" Didn't mean to. One more story, and then we'll get to our kitty story, and we'll ask the question: nature or nurture? How the F did you get home? More mysterious marble-sized balls forced the closure of beaches in Australia, and we're not talking about them hanging out of your thong. Just saying. Thousands of strange balls of unknown origin have been seen on multiple beaches, and they've shut down those beaches in Australia recently. Several months after a number of strange black balls caused beach closures along Australia's New South Wales coastline, something else has started to appear. This time the balls, I have to be an adult here, Mallie. I have to be an adult, which have been washing up in their thousands, are gray or white. Quite unlike the black tar-like balls deemed to be from a sewage spill that were discovered last year. They're different balls washing up on the shore in Australia. According to reports, at least 8 beaches in New South Wales have been closed, and members of the public have been warned not to touch the balls in fear that they could be hazardous. I say go ahead and touch them, girl. They ain't going to hurt you.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. Northern Beaches Mayor Sue Hines told Guardian Australia that they could be anything. We don't know at this moment what it is. That makes it even more concerning. They're just balls. There's something that obviously is leaking or dropping, floating out there and being tossed around. Be careful when you toss them balls around, just saying. Mm-hmm. Since then, new details have been revealed following the submission of samples to the New South Wales Environmental Protection Authority. According to the findings, the balls contain saturated fatty acids, E. coli, and fecal bacteria, as well as volcanic rock pumice. Because you got to try and scrub them balls. Mm-hmm. Just saying. This has led to suggestions that these latest balls could also be a form of sewage spill. The local authorities have found no evidence of any incidents or issues that could account for this. The quote here from Hines is, "We're continuing to conduct regular inspections of our beaches and encourage the community to report any sightings," Hines said, while adding that she hoped that the analysis could make it possible to identify the source so that they can stop this from happening at other beaches. They want them to keep your balls at home, Mallie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you remember that song, the "Do your balls hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you throw them over your shoulder like cotton in a soldier? Do your balls hang low?"
Yes, I do remember that. Well, evidently they wash up on the shore.
Yeah.
At Australia's core. Can you put them on a beach? Can you wash them?
Dirty balls.
Yes. Can you wash them one each? Can you scrub them?
Does one hang lower than the other?
Can you wash them with some pumice? Can you eat them with some hummus? Do your balls hang low?
Nasty. Can you eat them with hummus?
I'm just trying to make new lyrics. There you go. All right. Our final story. Do you believe that kitties have a sense of direction and can find their way home from hundreds of miles? Or like Bill Maher recently said on Real Time with Bill Maher, it's just a new cat. Just answering to the same.
They'll probably find their way back. Dogs can. I'm thinking they can. They're just more stubborn than dogs.
Think so?
Yeah. I don't think it's a new cat.
Bill Maher had the best joke ever on Real Time with Bill Maher. And he said, it was in New Rules. He said, new rule, when a cat claims to have been found from hundreds of miles away, when it has made its way home, he said in quotes, and you're calling it by its name and it's answering to that name, guess what? It's not the same old cat. It's just a new cat you found and it's answering to the same old name. Which I thought was funny. And you're just stupid is basically what he's saying.
Right.
But we may have found an exception to the rule. As I don't know how Bill Maher explains this one. There's a mystery out there as a stray cat with a foreign microchip was found in Oklahoma. Explain this one, Bill Maher. The hapless feline, which was picked up in a rural part of the state, appeared to have come from a very, very far place. While it's not particularly unusual for someone's cat to disappear only to reappear several miles away, this is the first time we've ever heard of one being found thousands of miles away from home. The cute little gray cat, who has since been nicknamed Samson, was recently brought into Sand Springs Animal Welfare in Oklahoma after being found roaming the area. Given the fact that the cat was well groomed, staff expected to find that it belonged to someone local. But when they checked the microchip, they were in for quite a surprise. It turned out that the cat was registered to someone in the UK, some 4,000 miles away, Mallie.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah. The mystery deepens further still when, upon contacting the registered owner, it turned out that their cat wasn't actually missing. The cat was still there. So who did Samson belong to, and how did he end up in Oklahoma?
Right.
Yeah. Well, he would have had to have been shipped over, as it was really expensive to have them shipped over, and then to have been quarantined and all kinds of stuff. Animal welfare coordinator Tracy Anderson told the First alert for news. So somebody loved this cat and put the money into getting him over here, but it's just hard to tell what happened to them. Maybe they passed away or something. It's just really hard to tell. But he's with us, and he'll get a good home either way.
Huh.
Weird story, huh?
Yeah.
4,000 miles away. Not injured, not waterlogged. He certainly didn't swim. So how did Samson make it? Unless he hitched a ride on a UFO. Or teleported.
Right.
Or jumped a ride on a time slip or something. But he made it. I want Bill Maher to explain that one.
Yeah.
As I doubt he walked.
Right. Yeah.
Unless he took the land bridge from Russia to America. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, good on Samson. If you want to see what Samson looks like, there he is right there. That's Samson.
Aw.
Yeah. So, there you go. Good on Samson. Evidently, he earned his name. So, yeah. So that'll do it for today. That's today's Supernatural News. Again, folks, if you have a story for us, or if you have a Parashare experience you want to send to us, send it in, tim@darknessradio.com. If you have a Parashare experience that you want to send in a voice note, just go to darknessradioshow.com, click on that blue button on the right-hand side, and leave us that voice note. You have 2 minutes to do so. If you need more time, click that blue button a second time. I'll stitch those voice notes together. We'll play it right here on the show. Mallie, what's going on with Paranormal Girl?
Not much. Trying to find some new locations to investigate. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Got to get out of my hibernation. So I'm kind of checking that out. But yeah.
Right on, right on.
Anything new with you?
Yeah, Missouri Paracon. I'm going to be at Missouri Paracon end of February. I'll have more details coming up in the events page on darknessradioshow.com. Keep checking the events page there. Keep checking the store as well at darknessradioshow.com for new stuff. The YouTube page. Keep looking at the YouTube page, as we will have new ways for you to participate through memberships and other new stuff. There's new stuff developing on the YouTube page as well. If you don't know where to find the YouTube page, it's the Original Darkness Radio. That's the name of the YouTube page. So, and we encourage you to subscribe as well. Become a subscriber over there. Subscribe over at the YouTube page. Let's see, what else? Oh, the Darkness Radio Apple app. If you have an Apple device, whether it be iPad, iPhone, whatever it be, download go to the store and download the Apple app for Darkness Radio. So that's the all new version of that is up and going. We're moving and shaking here, Mallie. We're getting things done.
Very cool. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Oh, if you'd like to be an executive producer of the show, give me an email, tim@darknessradio.com. Our executive producer today is Troy Palmer. So we want to thank Troy very much.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy. And I had one other note today. What was the note? Oh, on the show tomorrow. That's right. I got to do our tomorrow on the show. Tomorrow on the show, a couple of old friends stop by. Grant and Rihanna Wilson will be here, and they will be talking about the trips that they've been on recently, Ghost Adventures. Wait, I didn't say that. Wrong show.
They're doing a crossover.
Ghost hunting adventures, I meant to say, that they've been doing. Trips that you can go on and explore yourself with them. You can go on some ghost hunting adventures with them. And check out different sites around the world with them. So we'll talk about different trips you can take with them, see the world and explore and ghost hunt with Grant and Rihanna Wilson. We'll also talk about some other things that they have going on in 2025. So that's coming up tomorrow with Grant and Rihanna Wilson right here on the best in paranormal podcasting, Darkness Radio. I think that does it for today, Mallie.
Perfect.
Now that I've stuck my foot in my mouth. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow with Grant Rihanna Wilson right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Darkness Radio.